A big round of applause for the launch of the book Beyond Boundaries by Sandeep Patil, written with Clayton Murzello and presented.
Professor.
Harish. Raju.
बाकी तुमचं सगळं वाचलं जे काय ते
सर थोड़ा पीछे
देवाशीष को देखिए
वेट लावाना को नहीं मिल रहा थोड़ा खाली बस थोड़ा क्या बोलते
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. First of all, good evening, friends. Can I request John to come in the front row, please? John. After writing Caught and Told, which we did a few years back, Clayton was after me. Why don't you, write your sort of second innings of my not only cricketing career but otherwise. My first book was launched in, I think, 1984, which was Sandy Storm, and I had not, to be very honest, I had not done or had not achieved anything when I wrote that book. It was Sunil Gavaskar who forced me. Now, this time, thanks to Clayton, it was his idea, and it took us, I think, long. It took us almost 2 years. 4 years, my God. And I also thank Sonali, who has edited the book, and of course Sachin, who readily agreed to publish it. Many publishers approached me, and they also wanted to change, the writers. I said, no, I will not, part away with Clayton. So I must thank Clayton, I must thank Sonali, I must thank Sachin. And of course, I must thank Ravi for agreeing to release this book. Also thank all my colleagues and all my friends from press, from electronic media and print media for coming here, and my CCI members. So I think I'm sure you'll like it, because I'm lucky that I could do so many things in my short career. Not that everything I've done is good, but I enjoy doing various things. And that's how I've written my experience in various fields in this book. I hope you like it.
I'm sure they will. And my next question is to Mr. Shastri. When you heard that your old roommate is writing a book, what were your first thoughts? And especially when he asked you to pen the foreword.
I think my first thoughts were it will have shitloads of masala. Okay, and Partloon being Partloon, you know, you have to give 10% discount even if Clayton has written the book. Because you have to, otherwise it's not complete. You know, because the way he'll describe it is going to be very, very colorful. Because he's not short of stories. He never was. Even when we were roommates, it was time pass. I'll tell you, we've had some of the best times. In those 6-7 years we were there, tours of Pakistan, England, World Cup, you know, all that. And in places like that, when time doesn't pass that easily, especially if you're getting hammered, you know, then you need good company. You know, and Patla was there.
Wonderful. And my next question is to Mr. Murzello. Tell us about writing this book, because let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this book is a very different one when compared to other cricketing autobiographies, because it's written in a nice short anecdotal form, so you can jump from one chapter to the next. Welcoming Mr. Sunil Gavaskar today. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Sunil, please. Nayaकडे जागा ठेवली मी. Please, request.
Because we did not want to upset people. But it was a great experience. We had at least 65 sessions at his Jogeshwari place, and I enjoyed them all.
And just before we came on stage, I believe you have a question for Mr. Shastri.
I always have a question for him. Ravi, there's an instance in the book where you and Sandeep were sharing a room, and you all ordered food, and the waiter just couldn't believe that it's food for 2 people. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, because you know, we used to get much more money than any of the test cricketers get today. You know that. And I'll tell you, we were one pair that never took home any money. So when I used to finish a test match and go home, Dad would ask me, you know, what's some money for the test match, you know, where's it? And it'll be some loose change. Because we would eat like pigs. So I am not surprised that guy was surprised, because it was shitloads of food there.
And what about the liquids?
That's never short of that. You know, we were thirsty from a very young age. You know. The game used to finish at 5:30. You know, 6:30. You know, the wet wicket would start.
Thank you.
Sachin, you call him your captain, and when your captain calls, you don't say no. He said, I want to write a book. Tell us about the publisher's journey.
When Sandeep Patil says jump, I say how high. I'll tell you, there's a background to this. This was in the Keki Kotwal Milind Rege era at CCI cricket, which was one of the most fun, inclusive eras where everyone was given a game of cricket, irrespective of their talent. So I remember the Madhya Pradesh team was playing CCI, and it was a full day game, it was midweek, and CCI did not have 11, so I was drafted into play. And the first hour, we had Kambli, Tendulkar, and Sandy sir was leading us. I think Hemant Kenkre would have played that game. I'm quite sure Hemant was around that day. And I think in the 5th or 6th over, I dropped a catch. And at the drinks break, Lala Shah, who's one of our Saturday afternoon cricketers and a club legend, he asked me, Baju, tumne catch kitna choda? So Sandy replied to him when we were having drinks, Lala, how many balls did you let between your legs? That is Sandeep Patil for you. He lifted you up, whoever you were. He's one of the greatest motivators, made you feel comfortable irrespective. And that's what, and that day I even got a chance to bat there. Don't ask me the score, but I got 3 balls to bat there. It was someone like me who's an amateur who played this game on Saturday afternoon to play as part of this was something that was motivating and something you took away at the end of the day, because then Sandy would order beers for everybody. Mr. Rege would come and chat to everybody on how the game would be played. But these were our foundations. We learnt about life from being associated with these people and playing this game. And later on, I will share a couple of great anecdotes of Sir, just absolutely legendary human being.
It's amazing, isn't it? Everybody has normally 2 balls to bat. He had 3 balls to bat.
Sir, I was lucky I lasted those first 2 balls because I didn't see them also.
So again, we've got so many anecdotes and stories, and my question to you again, there was the story about the food. Later, he took on cooking. But back then, did he ever try that? Do you have any other stories, any other memories as roommates?
I think his cooking skills he mastered in Kenya, if I'm not mistaken. He spent a lot of time there. He always was a big fan of wildlife, and he must have learned all those skills there because he ate only non-veg. I have not seen a single vegetable in the room ordered by him. It was meat, meat, meat all the way. And I still remember we were pissed as rats after the 1983 World Cup final. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And we were hungry. And we had to eat. And in England, room service and all that is shut. So we went to Leicester Square. And there was one Wimpy's open at 4 o'clock in the morning. And we really filled the bags and came in with about 3, 4, 5 hamburgers and then ate. But with him, there was never a dull moment. Jeeta, hara, zero kiya, 100 kiya, consistently consistent, time pass.
Wonderful. And that's what the 1983 World Cup, the team, the way it bonded. Now, in the book, all the squad members have written a line about you, except the late Yashpal Sharma, whom we dearly miss. What did that win do for you all? It just bonded you on a different level, didn't it?
Yeah, I think 83 World Cup everybody knows, and I'm sure today's generation also has watched 83 movie. So it was a real fun to start with, and beating West Indies in the first match and beating West Indies in the finals was something which no team had done in that era. And thanks to seniors like Sunil, Mohina, Dilip, Kirmani, Madanlal, they guided us, they helped us. The only thing which we didn't understood during the World Cup, entire World Cup, was Kapil's English. Because every team meeting, he used to, talk in only English. And after the meeting used to get over, we used to ask Sunil, Jimmy, ki kya bolna cha raha tha wo? So Sunil used to say, forget it, you carry on with your own job and we'll see. But we gelled well, and mind you, entire World Cup, we didn't have one single hero. Every match there was different 2-3 heroes. So it really worked well for the team, and I think it changed the cricket in India after that win.
Oh, absolutely. We still look back at that moment with a lot of pride. And for you personally, moving on to coaching later, especially with Kenya 2003 World Cup, going into the semi-final later with India A, India Under-19, discovering some new talent and other stints in the cricketing field as well. What do you think is your finest moment of the field in cricket? Like, with all those other roles that
There's
you
so
took
many, moments off the field. On the field, there are very little moments, and I hope you will understand. But I must thank Sunil, because earlier as a player, I was not focused. I was, more into looking into stands and enjoying my batting and not really caring for my team or myself. But Sunil decided to give me captaincy, if I'm right, at when we were with the Nirvans. And his decision proved so right, because that captaincy, put something, on me, the burden. Instead of looking after myself, I had to look after other 10 players also. So thanks to Sunil, he changed in my thinking about cricket and even my style, and that carried on when I took up coaching. But that really helped me. Coaching with Kenya was different. Coaching with players who are trying to establish, and coaching with players who are already established, which I experienced both. But it was easy to coach the Madhya Pradesh team and Kenya because they were willing to learn. And this stint with Indian cricket as a coach didn't go well, and I take totally blame on myself, because I did something which I shouldn't have done. I should have handled the seniors in a better way, which I have already written in the book. But it was fun.
Yes, and that is exactly why I say that the book is written in such a candid way. Mr. Shastri, my question to you is, you followed his journey post his retirement from the game. What do you make of it, especially him doing a show which had cooking involved and the various other things that he's tried? A true all-rounder, that's what you've written in your foreword.
And you could see it coming, because even when we were in the room, we shared the room for a long time. He had a very creative mind. He was naturally talented. He's a brilliant artist, which very few people will know. And it comes naturally to him. He could sing. He was fond of cooking. And it came naturally to him. And if he had a bee in his bonnet that I want to do this, he will do that. So ended up acting. Thank God I didn't get into that movie, because I was supposed to be a drunkard in that movie named Michael. So I said, I'm not doing that role, when the script was being read out to him. But it was fun just hearing the script also, and so I'm not surprised with all these, the talent that he has, multifaceted human being. And as a cricketer, let me tell you, he had a very shrewd cricket brain. People might not, see that side of him. He could take the boys with him. He would have been brilliant for India A. I'm sure all those who went with him would have learnt a lot, especially at that age, being youngsters. And as a batsman, I say till today, he's one of the hardest hitters of the cricket ball in his palm. I thought Kapil Dev, Sandeep Patil, I've not seen till today an Indian hit the ball harder. There's MS who's come now with the bats that are being used, so you get, the Yuvrajas and all who hit the ball hard. But at that time, he was one of the hardest hitters of a cricket ball.
Wow, that's some compliment. And my question, Clayton, you've noted so many anecdotes. Your two favorite anecdotes. I know you were really thinking about them before this launch. Have you finally finalized those two?
Yeah, I think the one about Abby Kuruvilla, towards the end of his first class career, he said that he faced Abby Kuruvilla in a time shield game, Sungrace Mafatwala versus Tatas, and Abby Kuruvilla bowled very quick to him. And that evening he decided, I'll have no more of cricket. The cricket is over for me. So I thought that was quite profound, to give up the game like that.
And Sachin, any more anecdotes that you can think of? You were really racing through them before the show.
When the first time I entered the NCA after Rajbai passing away, Sir was the director there. The first thing I looked on the left, there was a portrait of Raj Singh and Hanuman Singh, who founded that academy, and the photos were never displayed then. But the moment Sandy Sir took over, the photographs were up. That tells you what he's all about here. The other thing is his love for CCI Chinese food. So every time he left for NCA, Sam would get a call, and I would be in the club in the morning for coffee or something, and Sam would come running to me that the kitchen opens at 12. Sandy's got an afternoon flight. I have to keep it ready, and you'd see all these boxes packed and neatly packed, because they'd go on the plane and they'd go into his freezer in Bangalore, and he'd be eating that for the next 2 days. Just remarkable. Especially on this book, he's been an absolute delight to work with. He's led the whole thing. We fed off him, never said no to anything. It's been like his batting, an absolute pleasure, an absolute delight. It's been such an honor to work with him, and he kept all of us together and pulled this project together. So it's very special. I hope he does another book another day and I have another chance to work with him on something.
I'm sure there will be another opportunity, provided he picks up something new. What after painting, you think?
I've had enough of it. I just hope that you like the book.
Wonderful. And this discussion has been an absolute delight. And now we will launch the book officially, I would like to invite Sonali Velinkar Kamath, who has edited this book, onto stage. Can you ask the cameramen and photographers to please settle down?
Ladies and gentlemen, this indeed is a privilege for me to come and speak here on behalf of a friend who has been with me for 48 years. In fact, I'm wearing a watch that he gave me 48 years ago when he came back from Sharjah. A lot has been said about Sandeep as a cricketer, and lots will be said about him. But if I go down memory lane of my 48 years association with a wonderful person, I can recall a few moments. The first time I saw Sandeep coming on the cricket ground was when Tata Sports Club was playing against Century Rayon at the Mahalakshmi Sports Club. And Dilip was our captain. And we had a very good side. Kailash Gatani, Ajit Naik, Padmakar Shivalkar. Tata was a big team. Always has been and always will be. There are many teams who have come and gone, but Tatas will continue to be where they are. And we had batted first, scored lots of runs. And there came on number 4, a tall, gangling player with that Australian hat of his, thin, scrawny, but tall, 6 feet 2 inches. And we had heard about Sandeep, that he played for the Bombay University. And he was the son of the legend Madhu Patil. Now, Madhu Patil was known in Mumbai circles as the palm tree hitter. I believe he hit the ball so long at Shivaji Park that it went into people's houses. That was the kind of power that the late Madhu Patil had. A wonderful person, always jovial, always welcome us in his house. And that day, to come back to the story of seeing Sandeep first, he batted, took leg guard, and Kailash Gatani was bowling with a new ball. Now, all of us know that Kailash Gatani was a great exponent of swing and seam bowling. Ballu, you'll agree with me, because I don't know whether you've seen Kailash, but he was one of those very, very, very solid bowlers in Indian cricket. Unfortunate that he didn't play for India, we deserved to, but that's another story for another day. Sandeep took guard. We were playing at Mahalakshmi where the boundary was 90 yards straight at long on and about 80 yards square. And Sandeep flicked the first ball from Kailash Gatani, a brand new ball, to long on for a 6. It did not even come 4 feet above the ground. It just went straight this way and hit the fences there. That was my first glimpse of Sandeep Patil. A great striker of the ball. Ravi has already mentioned that he was the hardest hitter of the ball in those days. And in my first article on Sandeep Patil, I had written that there are some great players of the past, and Viv Richards is one of them. I may sound stupid, but he was as hard a hitter of the ball as Viv Richards, Kapil Dev, and the others. So that was my first glimpse of Sandeep Patil. Lots will be said about Sandeep Patil by the illuminaries who are here. But over the years, my association with Sandeep Patil as a cricketer was different. To recall the first instance, I went straight to his father's house that evening. And we had a secretary, Mr. Prakash Palekar, who was he's not with us today, but he was one of those who helped cricketers. And I discussed with him, that let's take this young man. I went to Sandeep's house and met Mr. Patil. And he said that very day that he will join you. And that's when Sandeep joined Tata Sports Club, Tata Tomco in those days, but played for a team called Tata Sports Club. Now, Tata Sports Club in those days, like I said, was a very good side. Dilip, Kailash, Ajit Naik, Padmakar Shivalkar, Ramnath Parkar, and the works. Sharad Hazari, to name a few. And Sandeep started coming to work at 9:15 on the dot. The one thing that Sandeep taught me in life is punctuality. I don't know how he does it. When you tell him 8 o'clock, probably he's waiting outside the door for 5 minutes and rings the bell, it's 8 o'clock. So when my guests are coming at 8:30, I tell Sandeep, come at 9. Because he'd arrive before the guests, open the bar and start drinking. That's Sandeep, fun-loving, happy, always a great friend. Then we started our sojourns to far-off places. Mahabaleshwar in his Dukkar Fiat, 6 of us in the car steaming hot. At Khandala, Lonavala, it had to stop because you had to put it would heat, open the bonnet. You had to put those bricks and I would wait there while Sandeep was waiting for the car to heat. But those were good days in this. His beautiful wife Deepa, in those days, looked after all of us. She looked after everybody, but now as all wives, when we grow older, are the bosses. So Deepa today is his boss, and Sandeep now is a much tempered personality. Then we started our sojourns to East Africa, Nairobi, where he hosted all of us. He was a great host, like Ravi said, a brilliant cook. And Sandeep and I used to meet twice a week, either at his Shivaji Park residence or at mine for a drink. And somewhere I had opened a bottle of Lagavulin, 16-year-old. I don't know how he remembered, but the next time I went to his house, there was a case of Lagavulin lying there. It's still there because I haven't finished all the drinks. But that is Sandeep Patil for you, a great cook and a great host. I have never ever discussed cricket. The irony of this whole thing is that Sandeep the cricketer will be talked about by all of you all, but I have never ever discussed, and Sandeep and I, cricket. Can you imagine? He had in his wallet, he used to keep a little chit. He used to have jokes in it. And one line he would elaborate on the jokes, like Ravi said, exaggerate it 20%, 30%. There was nothing, it was far from the truth really, but he did it. And that is Sandeep. Then we used to go to places like Lavasa, where he has a sprawling bungalow, look after us. The best sandwiches in the world I would eat from Sandeep Patil, beautifully cut sandwiches, nicely wrapped in chicken, and nothing would come out. He would have it wrapped and serve it to us. And the one thing that, like I told you, that punctuality is something he taught me. The bar opens at, somebody said that, Ravi said that 6:30 they would start drinking. That thing still continues. But then he slept at 1, now he sleeps at 8. So when you go to his house, you have got to be present at 6:30 because the bar opens. He has his drinks. We are now, I mean, at my age, I've become a very slow drinker now. Not that I didn't enjoy my drinks earlier. But at 8 o'clock, 8:30, he was a bully. In these times, he was a bully. He would serve dinner. Dinner was served, he would eat, and he said, now you'll carry on, I'm going to bed. A very, very incident that I remember, when I was working for the BCCI after my retirement from Tata Steel, Sandeep was with the National Cricket Academy. And in that academy, Suru Naik and I were in Bangalore for some World Cup job work. And Sandeep invited us to his house at Bangalore, big sprawling house that he had of the NCA. And you know how Bangalore is, when you land at the airport, it takes you 2 hours to reach the place. And it was pouring. So Suru and I panicked because this man would be, used to be waiting for us. So we left our luggage, got out of the car, started running to his residence. We ran to his residence. We reached at 8 o'clock. 8:30 he served us drinks, dinner. 8 o'clock we started drinking. 8:30 he served us drinks and told us, go home now. So for half an hour, we did all that we did. But that is Sandeep Patil. The gifts he gives you, the love he showers upon you, the kind of person he is. I mean, we just love him. His cricket is great. He has been a fabulous cricketer, somebody who didn't achieve what he needed to achieve. What the Vengsarkars and the Gavaskars have achieved, Sandeep could have achieved at least half of that. But Sandeep's mind was elsewhere. He enjoyed his cricket, he enjoyed life. Till today, he has no regrets in life. He's a painter, he's given me 10 paintings, but I have 3 walls in my house. So where do I keep the paintings? I have no place for his paintings. But he still insists, Milind, you must take this, Milind, you must take that. So that is Sandeep Patil. I could say a lot of things about him. But the love and affection that he gives us, to me and my wife Raj, is something I cherish. something that will go a long, long way in the few years that one has to live. But Sandeep, thank you so much for allowing me to speak on this occasion. God bless you.
Good evening, everybody. Patla, been with him for long. I played my first game against him at Ruya College, a practice game where he got beaten and I screamed and he got angry because that was Ruya College, and I looked at the Naka side where all the beautiful girls were there, and in his territory I was screaming at him, and I'm screaming at a lion in his territory. But after that I was selected for university, and he hammered me in Islam Gymkhana ground. He hammered me in all part of the ground. He took the revenge for me screaming at him. But I agree with Ravi when he said that you got to give discount to Patla. I remember one incident. I used to come on bike to his place in Shivaji Park, park my bike there and hitch a ride with him in his car. And one day he was wearing a t-shirt from Bada Saab, knitted t-shirt, Machhardani ki. I said, Patla, न्यू टी शर्ट? यस यस, कल ही बड़ा साहब को 30,000 बिल दिया है. बोला पाटला 30,000 इन 84 वाज बिग मनी, टू मच. बड़ा साहब का यार चकाचक. वी केम टू वानखेड़े एंड एज ही पार्क्ड हिज कार, दिलीप वाज पार्किंग हिज कार. क्या वो पाटला स्मार्ट दिख रहा है? अरे कल ही बड़ा साहब को 15,000 बिल दिया है. After that, we went into the dressing room, and there Anshu Bhai was there, and Anshu Bhai said, "Hey Patla, new T-shirt, new कपड़ा चकाचक." हाँ कल ही 5,000 रुपया बिल दिया है. बोला पाटला अच्छा हुआ हम वानखेड़े स्टेडियम यहीं पे था, चर्ची गेट. अगर कोलाबा जाते तो शायद बड़ा साहब तेरे को 50,000 दिया होता. So you got to give him discount. I'm sure you will be enjoying this book. There will be funny incidents, and he won't leave me, I know, in that book. As we keep pulling each other's leg for so many years, and I really enjoy his company. He was fantastic captain and also a super slip fielder. He has taken many catches of my bowling in the slip, and that's where I could get a good tally of wickets. Thanks Patla for everything, and congratulations on your book, Beyond Boundaries. Next book, I have a title for you, Beyond Boundaries of Mumbai. That book will have painting and cooking in that.
It's 7:15. 45 minutes to go before Sandeep will leave us. So I had about 4 or 5 actually points to make, but I'll stick to 2. Actually, it's a very special occasion where there are 4 or 5 people. John Wright is here. Good to see you. Made a huge impact on my life. Starting with Sandeep Patil at the Ranji Trophy level, where he actually fast-tracked me into the Ranji team, Faridabad, if you remember, and gave me a debut well before my time. So he was there, holding my hand for 2 years, 85 to 87. Post 87, Dilip Vengsarkar took charge of me in the Indian team. Ravi Shastri was there, always the great motivator, one of the few guys who in that time actually took pride in somebody else's performance. While most other people would get a little insecure, Ravi was one of those guys who just loved a young player doing well. But before Sandeep Patil mentored me, my cricket journey started because of Sunil Gavaskar. I played cricket because Mr. Sunil Gavaskar played cricket, not because my father played for India, but just watching Gavaskar, I wanted to be a cricketer, I wanted to be like him. There was a time when I was a leg spinner playing under 19 cricket as a leg spinner, and slowly people started considering me as a leg spinner. And I thought, yaar, mujhe to ballebazi karni thi. I wanted to be a batter like Sunil Gavaskar. What the heck? So I gave up leg spin to bat like Sunil Gavaskar. So it's a very special setting. This all these people who impacted my life. So I had 4 or 5 points to make, but considering it's 7:20, I'll just say a couple of things. And in the end, I'm going to tell one Sandeep Patil joke, which was so bad that actually everybody got up to hit him, but I'm going to tell that right at the end. Before that, one thing that I really like about Sandeep Patil, which Ravi mentioned briefly, is that he's a pure non-vegetarian. We have heard of pure vegetarians, and they take great pride in, yaar, wo chicken dur rakho. And I don't like the smell. Sandeep was a pure non-vegetarian, and my daughter loves you because of that. She said, wow, I like such people, because vegetarians and vegans, how do you recognize a vegan? They'll tell you that they are a vegan. So I remember once we were in Gujarat and somebody had hosted us. We used to call it Mamu dinner. And Sandeep was a big star then. We were just followers and people would flock. And that guy was so happy and says, Sandeep, aapke liye undio banaya, undio. And Sandeep actually, this is a true story, and he said, nahi, sorry, main veg nahi khata. So wo bole ke, they thought he'll make an exception. Yeah, maybe today you can eat. No, I don't eat vegetarian. He actually didn't eat the undio. I think Shishir was there on that trip. No? Yeah, you're in Ahmedabad. And we came back to the hotel and gave him company, where he ordered room service and ordered his non-vegetarian, didn't eat. And there was nothing as it, there was only vegetarian, but he was like that. He didn't care, I don't eat. And now, here's the joke that I promised. Sandeep, you remember this one where he talks about a dhangar. Dhangar is a shepherd, ne? Yeah, who's with his, herd of sheep. Huh? And then a tiger comes, tiger. And it's in Marathi, so can I say that in Marathi? Yeah. So the dhangar gets very scared, and the wag is a talking wag. He said, Aaj mi tula khana aa raha. And we used to say, Sandeep, where is this going? Nahi, aaj mi tula khana. And the shepherd says, I'm an old man. My blood is cold. Look at all these sheep. Very tender meat. Eat them. Nahi, mi tulach khana aa raha. I'm 80 years old. I'm a very old man. My flesh is, bad. My blood has become cold. These are hot-blooded animals. No, I will eat you. Karan aaj mala cold drink pyaयचं So that was Sandeep Patil for you. And actually, I think he did that deliberately so that we would all react in the way we did. But finally, on a serious note, thank you very much for what you did. You were a great captain for me in the formative years, very important years. I liked you better as captain than coach, actually. But thank you. And on behalf of all of us, the entertainment that you gave, the kind of batting, which was sheer class and entertainment. And beyond boundaries, I see that more as somebody who preferred to hit the ball beyond the boundary more than anything else. So well done and all the best. And continue your good work in the cuisine department. And Deepa, poor thing. When he was, the selector, what was he, referee or something, and I used to get really concerned about Deepa, because he would sleep at 8:15, and poor thing, she had to also close the curtains and pretend to be, sleeping next to him. So, well done for managing him for all these years. Congratulations. Well, thank you. All the best, sir.
Arabian Sea, and it was quite exciting to go and meet what was then, he was looming large as perhaps the most exciting young star on the cricket horizon. And while we were chatting, he said, "Ek drink tere ko pilayega main plane mein." So I said, yeah, plane mein flyega, but we are in his house. How is it possible? So that's when he said, nee, you wait, let's finish the interview. And then he took me up to his terrace. And on the terrace, there was an airplane. And that was his bar. So, a larger-than-life character in 1980. I came back, I couldn't hold myself. I came and told my boss then, Sharad Kotnis, who said, I said, yeah, Doc, you used to call him Dr. Kotnis. I said, Doc, ये Sandeep Patil तो character है एकदम. He said, क्या हो गया? He said, उसके plane में, उसके terrace पे plane है, and then there is a bar in the plane. Bhagata, I'm going to tell his father, and he took his, snuff, and so. But the relationship I've had, we've not met very frequently, but Sandeep has always been what, as the old English expression goes, a jolly good fellow. He's, as Sanjay mentioned, or Pallu mentioned, Ravi mentioned, he's never tensed. I've never seen him tense. I've always seen him full of beans, whether it's during the World Cup or in Pakistan. I remember the one match when I think that Dilip and he were batting at Sialkot, and then we got the information, the news of Indira Gandhi being assassinated, and the tour had to be called off. And everybody was in a flap, kya karna hai, including Rajbhai, who was the manager, the team members, the press. The only guy who looked completely unflappable was Sandeep Patil. And he said, nahi, kuch nahi, chalo, pahunch jayenge, Bombay jayenge, jo bhi hota hai. He's been a very, exciting cricketer to follow, albeit a very brief career, unfortunately, for spectators. I sometimes wonder, even now, that was he in this era of the T20, he would have been quite the rage. He was a rage then, but as I mentioned, very briefly. But at a personal level, now to come back to the discount and not, the one thing I hold a little bit of a grouse against him is that he's been telling me every time we met in the last 5-6 years, come to my house and I'll, I'll cook up, rustle up a great meal of meats. So I said, yeah, I didn't know he was such a fabulous cook. So once he sent me on WhatsApp, he said, these are the 100 knives I've got, carving for all the meat. So I've seen the knives and I've heard so much about, him being such a wonderful cook. Hopefully at some stage, he's going to call me over for a meal and then I can tell you how good a cook he is or not. But thank you so much for being here, all of y'all. I'm sure that there's lots more we need to know, or we will know about Sandeep from some of the people here who know him far more intimately. But I can say personally, it's been a pleasure knowing Sandeep. And I must, before I sign off, Clayton Murzello. I must mention about Clayton. Don't go by his very academic. He looks like an academic. He's got a wicked sense of humor, and I think he's got everything, as we say. He's a very good tabloid journalist. So all the masala that was there about Sandeep Patil, I'm sure he is extracted from Sandeep, and it's all there in the book, and we'll all have a great read. Thank you.
Actually, Ayaz said about that about Sandeep's plane in the terrace. I think I must be a different story. So I went to his terrace, and he took me to his plane. There's a bar in the cockpit. So I said, what's the specialty of this plane? He said, I sit in the cockpit. And after the third or fourth drink, the aeroplane's wings start flying. And so then I get the feeling I'm flying. And that was, it's a great privilege to be here for the launch of this book, Sandeep's book. Actually, I played against Sandeep at the age of 13 or 14, I don't remember exact age. We were destined to play against each other right from school days. His Guild Shield or Harris Shield, inter-collegiate tournament, I think inter-club tournament, inter-office tournament. I think we were in the opposite. I think I was in the opposite team. I remember, playing against Balmohan school. I don't know how many times we won, but we lost once in the Harris Shield. I remember that. It was played at National Ground in Cross Maidan. Bharat Nadki, Bharat was a captain, and there are 4 Sandeeps: Sandeep Chitre, Sandeep Rege, Sandeep Patil, and Sandeep Gangnaik. So I think we lost that match because they played very well. And then Sandeep that time I think used to bat number 8 or 9 and used to bowl. And his stock ball always, it was a beamer. Not a bouncer, but a beamer. It would come straight to your head. And he was not bothered at the reputation of any cricketer. I think we were playing Bombay University with SB, State Bank of India in the Polish Shield. And Hanuman Singh was plumb LBW, Sandeep Patil, plumb LB. And of course the umpires would win, I didn't give him out. So next ball, he bowled beamer to Hanuman Singh. And we were all shocked. But he bowled and he went backstage to this run up. I mean, he didn't look at him, and Hanu was furious, So that was Sandeep for you. Then inter-collegiate tournament, inter-collegiate final, I think we lost to Ria College. I remember that match at the Wankhede Stadium. We lost the match. I took the train, I went to Dadar at Milpesi Hindu Colony. After half an hour, the entire Rio College team was below my building. And they were singing, they were dancing, they had drums, they had gulals, and they're shouting all kind of slogans against me. Sandeep Patil me nahoto. The entire team says Sandeep was there. But I enjoyed that. And then of course, we were playing, I think, Rajasthan in Jaipur. Shishir was there as well. I was fielding an extra cover and he was fielding at mid-off. And he would always, chat and joke and around, and Sunil was fielding in the first sleeve. And Kiran Mokashi was bowling to Bharat Sharma. And Bharat, there was an outstanding batsman at the spin bowling. So Kiran tried to just bowl out, outcutter. I think he just did the tap, and Sunil had to run because there was nobody in the point area. So Sunil ran, and it was 4 runs. Again, Kiran bowled the next ball. He turned a little bit, and Bharat again let get the ball. Sunil had to run. And Sandeep was looking at me, he was laughing, and then Sunil was running. And Sunil was so angry that third ball, again he bowled. And again Bharat Sharma played a late cut. And it was halfway to the boundary, but Sunil kicked it over the boundary. So Sandeep quietly said, Kiran Bhaiya team se aata. And that did happen actually. And inter-collegiate tournaments, inter-school, of course, we played together against each other. Then, of course, for India and for Bombay. India, of course, I think those 2 innings he played, one at Adelaide against the best Australian attack, and at Old Trafford was truly outstanding innings I've seen him play. Excellent batsman, and after he scored 174 against Australia, he was asked to bat number 4. He said, "नहीं मुझे 5 players आगे चाहिए, 5 players पीछे चाहिए." So I'm happy at number 6. That's what he said, So I'm sure it will be a great read actually, and I'm looking forward to it. And for Clayton, I think he's been around for a long time. I think he's only journalist. I think one of a few journalists, and he covers local cricket, I think, which is so very important, and gives mileage in his newspaper. So very well done, Clayton, and all the best, Sandeep. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.